Today, on Exploring Scotland's History, we're going to tell you of a dastardly murder on Goatfell. In 1889, the idea of a proper holiday must have been something special, but for Edwin Rose, a 32-year-old office clerk from London, it was a reality. He had plans to stay at the Glenburn Hydropathic in Rothesay, but make the most of his visit and explore as much as possible, including Arran. Also planning big things in Rothesay was John Watson Lowry from Coatbridge. Living in Glasgow but travelling under an assumed name, John Annandale, he claimed he was looking to win back his lady as she had found a new suitor. Rose and Annandale met on the Ivanhoe as it headed to Arran, and they were soon in conversation. Rose had picked his holiday clothes carefully, nearly his costumes. Visually, it was clear they hailed from different classes, but Rose was too much of a pleasant chap to be a snob about it. They decided to return to Arran the next day, Rose keen to tackle some of the peaks. Annandale secured them a room in a boarding house in Brodick, run by Mrs. Walker. They headed back to Rothesay to celebrate their friendship, joined by William Tom and Francis Mickle from 𝔂𝔬𝔞𝔱𝔩𝔤, Friends of Roses. The friends did not take to Annandale as Rose had. They noticed his forced accent. He found him shifty and believed him to be a fraudster. All four headed to Arran the next day. The 𝔂𝔬𝔞𝔱𝔩 boys tried to convince Rose to abandon Annandale on several occasions, voicing their suspicions of him, but when they left Arran 2 days later, Rose and Annandale stayed. Rose and Annandale set off up Goatfell in late afternoon. Annandale, or Lowry, led, quite quietly, seemingly, absorbed in thought. Rose was jovial and greeted everyone he met on the hill. Lots of folk saw them head up Goatfell. No one witnessed them come down. Annandale was spotted around 9 p.m, alone, trudging through 𝔂𝔤𝔰𝔯𝔁. He stopped at the Corrie Hotel for a drink, telling the landlord he still had 6 miles to walk to his lodgings in Brodick. Mrs. Walker at Invercloy never saw either man again. Lowry, or Annandale, left on the early ferry the next morning with both his own and Rose's luggage. He was spotted continuing his break on Butte and wearing a rather distinctive yachting cap, which bore a striking resemblance to the one Rose had worn. But what about poor Edwin Rose? He died on Goatfell on the 15th of July. His family raised the alarm on the 18th of July when he didn't appear home. The Arran police arranged a search party. 200 folk took part in the search. Francis Logan found Edwin's remains. He was found in a hollow, face down, with a large boulder atop. His cap was folded and under a stone in a stream. His pockets were empty, and his face was horrifically smashed up. He could have fallen, but then why would someone cover him up after emptying his pockets? By the time the poor man was found, police in Glasgow knew that Annandale was Lowry. Lowry had met a man in passing on the Arran ferry with Rose, James Aitken. Aitken had also spotted that Rose did not return to Butte. Later, in Glasgow, the Goatfell incident front page, Aitken met Lowry and asked him to explain himself. Lowry agreed to meet him later, but didn't show up. Lowry dearly felt the pressure and went on the run. He wrote to the North British Daily Mail to protest his innocence. The letter post-dated Liverpool. The police moved in, but he evaded them. On the 17th of August, Lowry sent a similar letter from Aberdeen to the paper. He was finally caught on the 3rd of September near Hamilton. He attempted to cut his own throat with a razor while being arrested. In court, in November, Lowry still pled innocence to murder, but owned up to the theft of Rose's belongings. Lowry's defence team said he was insane. If proven, he would avoid being hung at Greenock Prison. There was a history of mental illness in Lowry's family. Lowry escaped being hanged by 2 days. a stay of execution being granted by the Secretary of State for Scotland. On the 1st of December, Laurie's sentence was commuted to life imprisonment at Perth Prison. He managed to escape, thankfully only for a short time. In 1910, he was back in Perth in the asylum for the criminally insane. He died in 1930, aged 69. He never admitted to the murder of poor Edwin Rose. A sad tale to be told in such beautiful surroundings. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe and leave a comment. It really helps the channel grow. I would like to thank everyone who contributes to the channel through the Ko-fi page. It is really much appreciated. Until next time, thank you for watching Exploring Scotland's History.